Today on Carlie's Couch, we're chatting with our good friend Will Medley about the art of preparation.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, everybody. We are so excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us once again. We're trying to get back in our guest bag. You guys heard from Dr. Charlie Kemp recently, and now we have another awesome person on the couch with us today. His name is, he's not a doctor, but he's done a lot of things. His name is Will Medley. What's up, Will? How you doing? Before we really intro you, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. All that good stuff.
So let me introduce Will because he's an interesting character. A lot of you might know him already. As you see on his shirt, HBCU May A&T in the building with us today. I'm honorary.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
People be sending me the text like, nigga, I did not go to A&T. Trying to invite me to stuff, but I'm gonna be there. Close enough. So Will Medley has worked in a variety of fields, from politics in DC to in Los Angeles, teaching, acting, doing comedy. You've probably seen him in a commercial. You've seen him on the side of a bus before. Actually, he all over the place, print, all that. And now he's working in the field of tech at Zscaler in North Carolina. So, it takes a lot to be able to even, see any type of success in that many different fields. So one thing I've noticed about him is that he puts a lot of preparation into all of those, getting on commercials, getting on stages. And now he's even working as a recruiter with Zscaler to help prepare others and show them how to get prepared for a career and for getting jobs and things of that nature. So as an outsider, like I said, we've seen you do your thing in all kinds of spaces, right? And one thing I always have seen is how you immerse yourself into studying and preparing. Anytime you're preparing for an opportunity, whether that's like going hard trying to learn a script, and I've heard you even on calls with work, telling other people some keys to how to be prepared. So today we want to hear from you. If with your background, is that something that's just an innate thing for you? Like, is it something you've always done, like even as a kid, or like how did you get this skill?
Oh, it wasn't on my own. It was 2 words, Charles Medley, my daddy. My father, man, he was very big on being prepared for things. So anything I was working on, he's like, well, if you start something, you better finish it. I was like, all right, so if I start something, he said, all right, so what's the plan? Step 1, step 2, step 3, what are you going to do if you get to this point? So everything I do, I try to prepare, and I always put in the back of my head is, you can only prepare so much because some things you can't prepare for. So just be prepared as you can. And it's just helped me. I understand I cannot control my life, but I can control what I can control. So that's why I try to prepare as much as possible.
So it takes a lot of discipline to be prepared. And I know you work out and been on your grind for that. It just takes so much discipline.
I want to be a baddie. That's why I work out, to be a baddie. I'm sorry.
Look. That's real. Look, that's why a lot of people work out. That's why I be in the gym too. And when you're preparing for things and like you've had so many different experiences, I remember you teaching and doing different things.
I love the kids.
Like, how do you push through like the arduous task of like trying to learn a script or trying to completely switch fields or do this? I remember you were talking about real estate one time, like you really do the damn thing. So how do you push through when it seems like it can just be daunting to up and just like flip?
Easy. You got to have your why. I have my why. I really got my why. Before it was, I wanted to make my mother and father so proud. Like that was the biggest thing. Now I know they're kind of proud of me already. Like, so that's cool. But my why happened April 11, 2021 when my daughter was born. Everything became about her. Like, that's my why. I got to get busy. I got to knock this out. I've always had that grind in me. Like, let me do this. Grind don't stop. You might have heard it before. But once when my daughter got here, it was like, yo, you gotta do a couple different things. So that's when I started shifting to the tech field. You got to pay them bills. Acting is one thing, comedy here and there. But those checks don't come consistently. So I had to get something consistent. And, maturity, you reach a new realm of maturity when you're responsible for another life. so I had to get to that point. But you gotta have a why.
That's one thing I hear a lot of people say, that once they have children, it becomes a whole different ballgame. Like, you have to make moves, right? But I feel like for you though, even before having your daughter, like, you were still very, very much like self-motivated. So when you talk to other people, whether it's in a workspace or just in general, right, having conversation, meeting people, etc., do you feel like you can tell when somebody kind of just has that extra spark, and when they're just like, man, this person's kind of lazy, or like they just don't have it? Do you think that's just like maybe some people just don't know what their why is yet?
Yeah, some people don't know what their why is, and some people are just lazy. I'm just going to, some people are lazy. And I'm not saying that's actually a bad thing. It's
just different. Everybody's different.
Yeah, seriously, because there's so many people who are so busy and they're running, and they get to 60 years of age and they look back, they don't even know, they didn't even enjoy life at all. Those lazy people did.
Sure did.
So you can take it with a grain of salt. So just don't be judgmental. Like, everybody is living their own life. Do what's best for you personally. But for me, I gotta do something. I gotta get things going. I gotta be productive. And I know how to take a break and enjoy the moment. That's why I try to travel as much as I can, and put the phone down when you're in environments with your friends. Sometimes you don't have to record it. Just take those mental memories, and it's good for you.
Yeah, I feel like that's what people miss out on, like being present in life. Like, it's easy to be busy, but to be productive and fully present is something completely different.
For sure.
You mentioned your famous motto, grind don't stop. What does that mean to you?
Oh, man, it just means continue to pursue whatever you really want to achieve. So if you want to be the best photographer, immerse yourself in the photography field. Talk to photographers, watch videos, read books, take as many pictures as possible. Ask those questions so you can get better. If you want to be, what I think it was like, was it 10,000 hours? Yeah, just get your 10,000 hours on, but focus on one thing at a time. Sometimes we find ourselves focused on one thing and then we jump to the next without fully mastering one thing at a time. So I try to master one thing and then I move over to the next. And even if I don't master it, just be kind of good at it. So get good enough at all of it.
Yeah, because sometimes too, like that thing you might really, really love, like it might be like, I want to be a comedian, but also I can't just do that. So, that's where I think Grind Don't Stop is really put on display, because yes, I'm grinding and that doesn't stop to do the thing that I love. And also I have to do other things. I'm gonna have to work third shift. I'm gonna have to do this or that to support. Not you felt it. To support being able to live in LA or to be able to do comedy. And so I think that's where you see the real dedication from people, is when you're preparing for this life by also like doing everything it takes, which is extra on top of that, to support, continuing to work in that space. So that's one thing that I think is very admirable about you as well, and why we kind of want to talk about all this with you. Yeah,
you got to work. Especially you come out to LA. I put together a series, How to Make It in LA, by somebody who hasn't made it yet. So if you haven't seen me, clearly I ain't made it enough for you to even know me yet. So that series was about people moving to Los Angeles, what they need to do to at least give yourself a fighting chance. And I found myself, I was working third shift. I was substitute teaching. Like one of my days would be, I would work from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. at the gym. I would come back to the house. I would get something to eat. I'll take the bus, because I didn't have a car then. I'll take the bus to substitute teach, which would be like an hour. I'll be there from, of course, like 8 o'clock to 3. Then take another bus, get back around 4. And then if there's any auditions, go to those auditions, get home maybe about 7, and then take a baby nap before the 11 o'clock. And I did this for nearly 3 years. That's why I lost my hair. I was losing hair and stuff. Straight up.
You didn't miss a night shift though, except one.
I did. I missed.
I remember the one too. I remember it.
I blame it on the Buffalo Bills.
I was like, is he dead? Because he ain't never missed a third shift. Like, he always would pop up, go to his job or whatever. He was tired.
This one, Big Wings, was a legit thing, and they had drinks on Thursday. My Bills had a game. It was Thursday night football, and I just had a little bit too much fun. And that was the only day I missed. But that dude milked it, because I was covering his shifts for like the next 2 months. But yeah. But like that type of stuff, like if you're not willing to put your get out of your comfort zone and really work just so you can have the opportunity to go after what you want, this ain't for you. This ain't for you. And that's anything in life. Like if you're not really willing to put in the work, don't complain about it and don't expect those results. Just put in the work, and you got to have patience, because it's not going to happen overnight for everyone. Some people, you might just bump into somebody on the street on your first day in LA and then bam, blow up. Some people, it might take 20 years. But just stay focused, believe in self, and the Most High, of course. I hate when people are like, the Most High. I'm talking about Jesus.
Allah?
I'm talking about Jesus. Dr. Umar mad as hell right now. I'm talking about Jesus. So that's for me. But yeah, that's all.
So knowing what you want and having your why can help the grind. But in like life in general, what are some things that people can do to help them better prepare for these opportunities, or to be ready so that, if they bump into that person, that they ready for whatever can pop off?
Educate yourself. Educate yourself on whatever you're trying to do. Whatever you want to do, educate. And there's no excuse these days. When I'm about to date myself. When I was a kid, I asked a question. I had to go in the living room. We had Encyclopedia Britannicas. These big, heavy-ass books. And look through it just to get the answers. Now you got the internet. You can find everything's
TikTok, Wikipedia, Chat GPT. Write your whole joint.
Facts. Like TikTok.
What should I know for this interview?
I'm a better cook now because of TikTok.
Yes.
Well, at least for another couple weeks till the government shut it down. No VPN for me. He about to send me to jail. But yeah, you have access to all this information. So when you hear people complaining, man, it's just ain't the same. I can't do it. Stop it. Yo, get busy.
Stop it.
Maybe they don't know how to research as much though, too, because like you still got to have the right tools, right? Like everything everybody says on TikTok is not it.
Mentorship.
So that's our job.
Find a mentor. I don't care what field it is. Find a mentor, a real mentor. find somebody who is proven doing exactly what you want to do. Find somebody who is proven. Say, for example, you're in you want to get into real estate. You find a real estate investment trust. You find a group. You go to those meetups. You find somebody who can take you under their wing and teach you about real estate. If you're all about acting, you need to surround yourself around actors and managers and people who are actually doing the thing. Ask real questions. Like find the people.
So can you talk about some of the mentors you may have had, or the resources in some of those different areas you've worked in, even from the beginning to now, or even maybe from college to now, whatever works for you. But what did that look like for you?
Yes, I started off believing I was going to be a world changer. I was big in politics. I was always doing public speaking. Then I ran campaigns. I was getting presidential candidates on North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, greatest HBCU in the land. Bringing those candidates to our campus and just helping people our age at that time. Get into politics.
Wow.
Get into politics. And I really enjoy stuff like that. But I just tried to do.
So you didn't even need a mentor in that space.
No, I did. But I still my mentors for me really were professors, like Dr. Mosley. He was the head of political science. Anybody I saw that was working in the field, I would just ask them questions. They might not have known that they were my mentor. And you don't have to be older to be a mentor. They can be your peers. And sometimes, rare enough, they're younger than you. So just be open-minded to that opportunity. Seriously.
And then I know now, with you working in recruitment, now let's talk about in the kind of job world, right? Of, maybe somebody's fresh out of college, or maybe they just want a career change. I've heard you on the phone kind of working and giving people, things to do. And I'm like, man, this sounds like common sense to me. But it's not common sense to everybody. Or maybe it's like kind of like something's different, right? Like you said, between your dad and you and people now, where it's like they might not have even thought to do all the research. They kind of expect, I think, people to tell them, what they need to know, tell them what to do or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you do a good job of helping them with that. So what are some of those types of recommendations that you give to people? You could think about it from like Z-scaler point of view, but in general, like if you're looking for a job or, some type of opportunity in that type of space, what should you be doing?
I've been saying this for about 10 years now, across the board. Watch what you put on social media.
Get closer to the mic and say it again.
Yeah, people be looking at that.
Watch what you put on social media. And the reason why I don't post like that anymore is I read somewhere years ago, it said, if you're angry, don't post it. Give it 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And I do that with purchases as well. So it's helped me stop buying as much stuff. Give it 24 hours. If you still want to post it, then it means something to you. Then you post it. But do not post in the moment. And but the most important thing for younger people coming out, goodness gracious, like you don't have to record everything, and it's gonna come out if you're doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing. Mm-hmm. We were lucky.
Barely. Well, I still got a couple Facebook albums that look a little off.
Those are all archived.
Yeah. But we were lucky. We had fun. But we weren't recording everything. We just had the memories. Mm. And unfortunately, this generation now, they want to record everything. If they didn't record it, it didn't happen. Mm. And you got to understand, whatever happens, if you put it out there, I don't care if you're trying to get a job 10 years down the road. You look at people getting canceled for tweets from 10, 15 years ago.
Bro, they talking about that with that Freaknik documentary. All these people worried about their jobs.
Oh, my God.
About to see their mama on TV.
I would get a cease and desist if I was. And that was camcorder footage. Yeah, But also talk to your professors when before you get out. Ask real questions. Talk to people who just graduated, going into the field that you're in. Ask them real questions and yeah. Number one is just the phone thing. I'm sorry.
What about preparation, though, specifically for, like, let's say you get an opportunity, like, hey, let's set a call, let's talk. What should they know? You know what I mean? Going into...
Do a call with purpose. So make sure you have a list of topics that you want to talk about. Before you even talk to that person and they agree to it, send over the itinerary. Like, all right, this is what I want to discuss. You go over it step by step, like, all right, so they see that you mean business. And everybody's prepared, and that shows that you're a young professional. You're ready to get out there. It's very important, and I didn't know anything about it. Working in all those politics, I didn't know about it until I went to a resume at A&T. They had a resume writer for you. They helped you build your resume, and in there, they was prepping me for like job interviews. I'm like, I just came here to make my resume. just put it on my hard disk, and get up out of here. And that helped me moving forward. So every time I'm in an interview, I don't feel worried. I'm like, well, here's the steps, here's the process. Just like those people who were fortunate enough to know how to take tests, who had the Kaplan and things like that.
But I think another thing too, which kind of goes to what you were saying, right, about them kids having the internet, and not even, let me stop saying kids, because all of us, we have the internet right now. Another thing that we can do, because people are doing that to you, is making sure, and tell me about the importance of this, making sure you actually research the people that you're about to be talking to, right? Because people don't recognize how easily you can connect off of just like, oh, you went to A&T, I went to a HBCU too. Like, even that quick moment can make a conversation like so much more softer, and like, oh, we could take off our little mask real quick and like, have real conversation. So you can there's some homework you can do too going into meetings.
Yeah, it's called shields and guards. You do things like that research to help open up their shield and help them put their guards down. It's very important. So, for example, somebody who went to the University of UMass, random, right? But their mascot's the Minutemen. So you can be like, oh, I was a huge Marcus Camby fan when they made it to the Final Four, the Minutemen, and John Calipari was their coach. You know what I'm saying? But you see on there, they play basketball at Massachusetts. So things like that, you're doing the little research about a person, and then their shields and guards are going to start coming down. And it's no longer, oh, who is this person reaching out? Like, who is this person? Just like when I used to date girls in high school, I'll do a little research on their dad. Like, oh, Mr. Johnson, I heard you used to play basketball in high school, man. You was nice. So the dad goes from what to, oh, yeah, I used to get on here. I used to get busy. I was like, man, yeah, my dad was telling me about it. He said, oh, yeah. Well, y'all have a good time tonight. I'm like, shields and guards. Do some research.
Bro, you the only person I ever heard of do that with somebody's parents.
Right. Oh, yeah. You can do that with everybody, though.
Yeah, no, but that makes sense. But also, I think it helps you, like, when you're doing your own research, like, one, the people feel more confident in talking to you because you actually seem like you about something. You're not just randomly reaching out to them on LinkedIn, which is a great way to get these interviews. Like, do you have time for a 15-minute call? I'd like to talk about XYZ or whatever's going on. But also, you might be hitting up the wrong person. Like, they might not even be in that field, and then you're wasting their time, and nobody likes their time wasted.
But the good thing is, you reached out, you had that plan, like, could you point me in the right direction? And those people are more than likely, oh, sure, because they see people want to help people. No matter what, the news continue to put all the negative stuff out, there's way more good people than there are bad. So people want to do good.
Especially for people who want to help themselves.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was mad because one time somebody asked me some question like, hey, Lex, how do I start a shoe company? And then I started Googling. I said, wait a minute.
They're trying to use you.
Right. I was like, nigga, if I got to hop on Google to help answer a question, but I automatically was like, oh, yeah, let me see what I can say to you. Like, no. Like, first of all, that tells me you're not even trying because I have no idea, but I just start Googling. So, like, you start Googling, like, start figuring it out, right? So I'm like, oh, this person had no initiative. Then the next day, I was like, you know what? I don't have nothing to do with shoes, so you need to figure something else out. Like, that doesn't make sense. And the other thing I hate hearing is, excuse me, can I ask you a question? Boy, that message ain't never getting answered. Like, you should have just asked the question. like, oh, here we go. Because you don't know what they about to say. They just want to get a little yes or whatever.
That's bad.
And it's like, just say what you need to say and let people know, what you're trying to figure out.
Move with a purpose, please.
Yeah. And you got to know it to move in it. But it does make a really big difference when you're talking to somebody who feels like they have a certain confidence. They've done a level of work. And that also kind of shows you, and let me know if you agree or not, but like that also kind of shows you if this is somebody that you can kind of teach, like regardless of what they really know or not, that's somebody you can work with because, they're a good people person, which I think a lot of times is more important than even like whatever skills we're talking about. And you kind of work in a tech space area now. So like, what about that? Like, do they need to know like all this, every skill about the company or what is that thing you kind of could look for from people and then being prepared?
Number one thing I'm looking for is coachability. Like, I need to know that you are going to be a team player, somebody who can receive criticism constructively, like not personally, receive it constructively. Those are the type of people that you can put in any environment, any type of job. Because let's be serious, people. You can learn any job once you start it.
Like, that's why I be like, I know Excel.
Yeah. You don't have to lie on your resumes, but you can beef it up a little bit.
If you're that type of person, you can get it.
Yeah. Like, look, if they say, do you know Excel? All right, get on YouTube that night. Master it that night. Yes, I do. You're not telling a story. You know it. So, don't X yourself out.
Yep. So I'm hearing initiative, research, but most importantly, those quality skills, like those emotional intelligence skills, like coachability.
Yeah, and when I went back saying like do your research, stuff like this, podcasts, listen to podcasts of your interest. That has helped change my whole mentality with pretty much everything. I've also I don't listen to music as much now because it's not what I'm into. I'm more into upward mobility.
Yeah. And especially because you can always be hearing things, while you're moving and you're learning stuff. It makes your conversation richer with other people. It's like little nuggets that you get that, people don't even expect for you to know. I think that's a really good way to get information.
I mean, I still listen to music though, like Project Pat.
Cheese and dough. So I don't know why that takes me here. I'm sorry for the correlation. However, I do want to say that William Medley is also a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Oh, cute.
And so also I think and especially coming from A&T, knowing a little bit about Musi, et cetera, how did that actually teach or sharpen preparation? Because that's, I also have in our conversations past heard you mention like, yeah, y'all don't know how to learn about people and talk to people. Like we learned that, trying to, pledge to be online and all that. So like talk about that experience. I'm sorry. Talk about that experience.
Non-hazing organization. Went to informationals and signed a paper. So that being said, what I did learn, I researched the members that were at the university because I want to learn the people who I want to be around. I see it as a family. That's real. I see it as a family.
Like, do I even want to be here?
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you how organized I am. I had an Excel spreadsheet.
I'm telling you, be on it.
Their name, their hometown, their favorite food, their best friend, and things they like to do.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
He was way ahead of it.
So Fred, I'm drawing Fred with name. I had him on there. I remember he had a best friend named Bebe. And I had that in there. I said, yeah, your best friend Baby. He's like, how you know that?
Right.
I was like,
you like Nardwuar.
Exactly.
I was like, hey, I'm doing my research. But yeah.
Impressed.
That helped me tremendously, especially being in environments where I'm being questioned that make it easier in other environments when I'm being questioned. So now, when you're asking me about my job or profession or my goals, I'm like, I've already been walked through fire, so this is fine. A lot of people are missing that though these days.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of skills, like even hosting meetings and getting budgets together and running events and things that, unless you're in organizations that do that, you just don't have the access.
Yeah, that's the great thing about when it comes to the Greek life, and no matter where you stand on it, it's a business, it's an organization, and you have roles. And you have to produce. So those young men and women coming from those organizations, they've been in an environment where they have to produce. Well, not all of them. Some of them are just slack. But, if you see this young man or woman was the president and they're doing this in their fraternity, they put in some work because it's not easy. They used to tell us this all the time when it comes to fraternity. Oh, it's easier to try to be the bros than to be the bros. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then you become the bros, like, I gotta have this meeting. Like, we gotta have this fundraiser here. We gotta do this. We gotta put this on. And like, okay, I get what they're saying. You gotta do work. It ain't all just parties. You gotta do some work.
So to kind of bring this all full circle now, you already mentioned that you are a father now. So now how do you keep all your endeavors organized now? And how has that changed your approach to like preparation? Because you have this additional, I don't want to call it work to do, but additional tasks, priority, want to watch over, etc. And yet you still are moving in all these different spaces. And then also talk about how you plan to and how you might already be instilling these types of principles into your daughter. Okay,
well, me and her mom, we make sure that we have weekly conversations about what we want to do. How we want to raise her, and most importantly, the things that we missed as kids, make sure that she gets it as well. Well, not as well, that she gets it. It's just very important. My whole thing with my daughter is to ensure that she understands that her parents love her and will do anything for her as long as she puts forth the effort. Like, a lot of things we both wanted to do, me and her mother, our parents financially weren't in the position to do. Our goal is to make sure that we have the finances. So if she wants to take violin lessons, things of that nature, she wants to travel, which is why I take my daughter everywhere. We just want her to be cultured, worldly, things like that. Because from how I interact with people, the people who have traveled and met a lot of people, they tend to be cooler, okay? Just not trying to have a whack kid. Just gonna throw that out there. No whack children over here. But yeah, she shifted my focus more so, just giving her as many opportunities that she needs to be successful. So that's where my mindset is.
No, that's amazing. How do you stay balanced and prepared for all that though? Because you have so many other things going on at the same time.
To be honest, it doesn't feel like as much work to me. because I've always been a prepared person. So it's like, all right, sit down with mom. What's the plan for this week? When does she have this? Her mom is beyond smart. Like, she does spreadsheets or everything. Like,
y'all both some spreadsheet ass people.
I'm like, all right, so soccer fees are due on the 13th, and we need to have this. And
I am not that person.
So her mom's way more organized. I'm more of a spontaneous. So I'm like, I want to do this.
But you understand the organization, so y'all probably do good.
Yeah, I'm like,
all together.
It's a good team. And, you know, teamwork make the dream work. And my daughter, man, it's easier because she's not whack.
Yeah, she's cool.
Like, she's a cool kid. You know, for now, my biggest fear right now is, you know, I have plenty of friends whose daughters are like reaching the teenage years, and they say the same sad story. Like, you don't want to talk to me no more. They don't even say hi. They don't run to me, give me hugs no more. And I'm like, that's like my biggest fear.
Aww.
That's like my biggest fear. Like, dang, she ain't gonna be my friend.
I think they always come back around a little bit though too.
They all, well, not
and as long
always,
as you make the space for her to feel safe to talk to you about stuff, and
yeah, that's another
the thing.
thing.
People too hard on the kids, and then they don't want to talk to you no more. And you mad because you've been telling them they're not your little friend.
Give them no safe space.
And that's when we're not.
That's a hard balance too.
That is a tough balance to say. I'm not one of your little friends. Like I find myself saying all kind of stuff my parents said. Like we were going into the mall the other day. I said, you better not ask for nothing before we go in the store. I'm like, what?
Circle of life.
What? I was like, I just had to sit down. Like, why did I say that?
Get what you want, girl.
I'm like, but yeah, I find, but our parents did the best they could, and I get why they said what they said.
They were stressed out. They were so tired.
I probably was annoying. Goodness, I surely was asking when we got in that store. You can't get that? You ain't got no money. You ain't got no money or something.
But it sounds like the way you plan to teach and implement is by example. And I think that makes the most sense, right? Like people say practice what you preach. And the way I think about it is forget preaching, just practice it. And people going to see what's up. Like she's going to see how her father speaks to people to get like the things you want, to make people feel good, to make them kind of be on your team, advocate for you, all those things. So I think that's the best thing you can do and not be worried about it. And then also to thinking about, you know, how do you just do everything? Once you already just said your itinerary for back in the day was basically from like 8 to 8, it's like, oh, you know what? You could do anything because you've already done it in a few different settings. And so maybe, you know, part of this too is, especially while you're younger too, because it does get a little tougher as we get older. But during the time that you have energy to do all the things, do the things.
Yes.
Like, don't just sit around watching TV all day, playing with your friends on Xbox, all that stuff. That stuff's cool. And like he said, you know, there's a time to relax and a time to turn up. But if you have the energy to turn up, you got to turn up and like at least try to pack your schedule out and like do all the things you can do to make that like a little bit easier later for you to kind of do what you want to do, or just to see how far you can actually go. Like, I think people don't even push their limits. To me, what you said earlier about your schedule is like, you push the limits, and I would have been died or not showed up for half of them things. But you got to push the limits sometimes to actually see something, you know, flip for you. Yeah,
for sure. You have to humble yourself. You do. And you have to get rid of the hardest thing for me. Oh, Lord. If anybody know me, they know this is true. FOMO. I had FOMO bad. That's why I was at everything. I'm like, I want to miss this. Obviously. I'm at the Final Four. I'm at this, that, and that. Like, I got to go to this.
Hey, FOMO plus them all you can travel things you be having. Of course. Of course you're going to be there. They be like, oh, Will Medley, can you come to this? I'm there. Why my friends be hitting me like, dang, I just seen Will at South by Southwest. I just saw him last week at the Final Four. I seen him. He everywhere. I'm like, oh, he going to be everywhere.
I'm still going to travel. My daughter's probably going to be with me. But, I miss, in the past, I would go broke trying to go to everything. Now it's because I want to go, and it's not going to leave me financially embarrassed. Financially embarrassed? I saw this special in Africa. They was talking to the guy. He said, I cannot go out. I am finanaally embarrassed.
That's funny.
That's real.
So
that's real as fuck.
Everybody doing the most. Yeah. Like, let me get this.
Man, when I say they hit home, I said, me too. I am financially embarrassed. That's what it is.
At least you have some shame. Some people don't know.
Some people, yeah. No shame.
To be swiping them cards.
Man. Dog. And I think going back to pushing your limits, because it's so cool to see all the things that you're doing and like working towards and being super dad and taking her everywhere. That's amazing. But always tying back into your why. Like that's what powers you through on those 8 to 8 shifts, or when you doing a bunch of stuff you don't want to do in order to have a little bit of time to do something that you can and want to do.
Yeah, it's not about you. But if it's just you, it is about you. So put you first. Like a lot of times people, they neglect themselves, and it's bad. They're putting other people in front of themselves. That's not their why. Like that's a problem. Don't do that.
Making somebody else your why is never a win either.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because you'll never feel like you're really getting back what you think you want to get back. Yeah.
And this is off subject, but do not expect others to do unto you as you would do unto them. Like you're setting yourself up for anger, frustration, and a continuous cycle of self-pity and hate. Like do not do that.
Nice words of wisdom, Will.
Therapy.
Right, that too. Look, talk to somebody. It's okay.
It's not taboo.
All they doing is helping you understand yourself, which is never a loss. So
you're not out here emotionally embarrassed.
Come on, emotionally embarrassed.
Yes.
We not trying to be embarrassed in life. That's period. Right. Okay, we might be on to something now.
We're gonna have to write a book.
Right. You're gonna have the spreadsheet ready by 5 p.m.
I'm gonna go ahead and get this computer open.
So William, thank you so much for chatting with us. It's always cool, I think, to have deeper conversations with your friends, because there's such a wealth of knowledge just in our own peers that sometimes we don't even talk to them about serious stuff all the time, right? So we could do more than just go get margaritas. We can actually get some keys to life over here. So shout out Will for kind of always being prepared, being a good example, even to me and to us, for now, being a good example to his daughter, like Carlie said, and hopefully for all the listeners now to have got something out of, the information he put forth, right? It is about like putting yourself first, and being prepared is like you really just advocating for yourself, doing the things you need to do to see yourself win, because you can't help other people win if you're not winning. So I think that's really what it is, right? It doesn't have to feel selfish. It's still a part. It's still very much community based for you to win, for you to do well, so that your family and your friends can too. So thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, and congratulations to you ladies for. I remember when they started.
A few years ago now.
They've been grinding. They've been grinding. They got nice microphones and stuff. They ain't playing with y'all anymore. They even got a backdrop. So I'm proud of you ladies. You're awesome. I appreciate you having me on. This has been great, and this is providing more motivation for me to. This is going to hold me accountable.
Look, we love that. Every week we do a shout out, and we want to shout you out. So thank you again. But also let the people know how they can connect you, how they can support you, anything you got going on.
Well,
the Cash App is.
The Cash App. Cash App's so ghetto.
It is.
So,
big ghetto.
Somebody's like, yo, can you see it in Cash App? I'm like, oh, brother. Oh, let me help this person out. Scammer. You can reach me. My website, willmedley.com. That has my Instagram at Will Medley. Twitter, I'm barely on there because I don't want to get canceled. So it's Will Medley. I'm there as well. But my website, willmedley.com, has everything. And is that it?
Anything they can support you? You want them to watch something? You need to.
Just go to my Instagram page and just follow everything. I got America's Best Barbers coming up. I'm gonna be pitching that as well. I got some stuff I can't talk on because I signed some NDAs, so I'm just waiting. But just be on the lookout. And if you're into tech sales, I'm working with tech sales. I'm a diversity, equity, inclusion recruiter at Zscaler, largest cloud security company. We are awesome. We are hiring SDRs across the country. Just reach out to me on LinkedIn, Will Medley. I'm trying to diversify a field that is grossly underrepresented. Let's make it happen.
Awesome. So go follow him. If you need a job, go hit him up, but do your research first. And then we always end with the question of the week. And so, Will, I'm going to come to you first. How do you get into flow state?
What? Flow state?
Yeah. Like when you real focused. Yeah. How do you get into your flow? I
pray. I pray. I sit down. I pray, because you gotta have quiet moments with yourself. Mm-hmm. After I'm done praying, during my prayers, I'm saying what I want to align, and then I say, all right, knock it out. No matter what's happening, knock it out. So that's how I get into the flow of things, and she knows me. Once I get in, I'm like, this is it. So, but prayer for me, some people like to say the Trinity, meditation, and prayer and meditation, same thing. So let's just keep it a buck. But yeah, that's what works for me. Whatever works for you is cool.
Carlie, how do you get into flow state?
A couple ways. So I do enjoy my quiet time in the morning, but working out, like actually pushing myself past my limits, really, I'd be locked the hell in. I just have to get there. That's the hardest part sometimes. But when I get there, I'm locked in. And then the other thing is when I'm trying to do really good work, like on the computer and want to be focused, for some reason, I'm really good in coffee shops. Like I go get a little space as long as it's cool. Like kind of the chaos around me helps me like focus into everything that's going on.
That's cool.
And I wanted to answer last because for me, I wouldn't even think about it in the same way of how to get into flow state. For me, flow state is a result, and it's literally just I have to start working. Once I start working, maybe give me 5-10 minutes, then I will get into a flow state.
You be flowing.
Yeah, like you have to. I just have to start. Like I could be anywhere. I could pray before. I could do whatever. And then if I pick up my phone or, just don't do what I need to be doing, I just never will get there. So for me, it's just a matter of like, I have to be like, all right, start. And then I'll get into it. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, I've been working on this for an hour. And then that's a good thing for me.
Mamba mentality.
There you go. Hit us at Carlie's Couch. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Make sure you go follow Will Medley. We'll put his website and everything else in the show notes. And we'd love to hear from y'all.
Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening. Peace out.
Bye, y'all.
That's on game.
Gang, gang.